You have 45 minutes to make as many variations as possible. I'm going to explain how I make variations. If you do not want to listen to me, feel free to leave the phone call and go work on your project. Okay? Listen to music, whatever you're going to do. At 9:30, I would make sure you take at least 5 minutes to take a photo of your drawing and hand it in. Okay? So, if you're curious how I approach drawing variations, essentially, I approach it like any other creative problem. If I know what I like, I go for that. Okay. And typically, I'm pretty aware of what I can do and what I like. And I like, when it comes to mascots and logos and that kind of thing, I like a more sharp look. I like a lot of diagonals. So most of my variations focus on going back and forth between those two things. So I'm actually going to focus more when it comes to the bear and the Bruin here, right? I'm just going to try to design a new Bruin, right? I'm going to focus more on that. I don't really think we have a I don't think we really have like an agreed upon logo for our school. I think the one that we see on the computers is borrowed. And although I do enjoy the bear claw kind of designs, it's not my absolute favorite when it comes to things like this. You know, we have that kind of like sideways looking one. All right, and it's got this kind of weird like kind of chop mark thing with a bunch of like details here, and it's too busy, too many things going on, right? And keep in mind, you guys can just like, if you're having trouble drawing or choosing something to draw, right, you can just kind of Google it and get yourself going by looking at some examples of other ideas to kind of jog your memory. All right, give you something to go off of. All right. Again, this to me is a bit too busy. And these are also borrowed. These are logos from like other clip art, other logos and ideas. They're not exactly ours. You know, this is just kind of a generic Bruins logo that we borrowed or stole. So it could be simplified and improved upon greatly. Okay, and that's probably what I'm going to try to do my best to improve upon, right? Especially since this is so complicated. You could probably just simplify it. So there's straight lines. All right, straight lines only. We could even change that again. You know, just see what the mouth looks like if it's flat like that. And that counts as a variation, by the way. Just changing the mouth opening. I could just focus on that for several variations, right? Based off of this general head shape, right? And still looking a little too clumsy for me. So I'm going to keep exploring this general head shape, right? Because I don't like the opening here. I don't like how that's turning out at all. I want to maybe expand that, hone it, maybe try a closed mouth or other kind of mouth shape in general. This profile right here isn't very good. I don't like that shape. So I'm just going to explore that shape. All right, here we go. Nice and rectilinear. Only straight lines, right? I'm liking the mouth shape a bit more, but maybe not so harsh in terms of like the profile here. We're starting to get into the territory of like maybe I do both eyes. I don't know. Maybe I do a more curvilinear form. How about that? Again, I'm just switching my shapes from, your basic triangles to your curvilinear or circular shapes to get a variation out of that. From here, if I like certain aspects, I can start to combine the two, right? So I have my curvilinear opening. And I could combine that with a more rectilinear head shape. All right. So now I've got kind of that more vicious looking mouth here. With a kind of boxy head, right? And it's not like this part is done, I'm just mixing and matching parts now. Again, I'm making variations. I'm trying to find different combinations, right? I'm trying to find out what works, what looks good. None of it has to be polished, okay? So from here, again, I might abandon this idea particularly if I don't like it, but if I really liked it, I would keep going with it, right? So now I'm starting to like the mouth shape, right? This mouth shape here is really aggressive. It's really simplistic, it's got a good profile. I might change like the angles, right? Make it more angular like that. But this is starting to feel good. It's starting to feel vicious, The thing now I don't like is the eyes. The eyes are, it's kind of triangle eyes. There's not a whole lot to them. I might want to do a more sinister looking eye shape, right? And again, these isolated parts play into my variation here. So I'll take my mouth that I'm pretty confident with, right? And I need to figure out this head shape. Right now I've got kind of a boxy, almost, you know, kind of prismatic hexagon type, right? I got a hexagon here for my head shape, you know? All right, there's my hexagon. I'm not satisfied with the eyes, so now I'm going to change the eyes. All right. Sorry, I have an email notification. Just going to check that real quick. God, nobody cares. Not worth checking. And I still don't like the eyes. There's something about like figuring out the eyes here. Maybe 2, maybe 1. I'm not sure. All right, and the ears, still unsatisfied with the ears. So this whole area is a gigantic problem area. I do like the general head shape. I do like the general feel of this, right? This right here is a really solid shape. You know, if that's going to be our logo, that might be a great logo to develop further. I have my basic outline. I just need to figure out the eyes. I need to figure out the ears. Right now, they're not working for me. They're not doing anything dynamic or interesting. They're really not like meshing with the overall shape. And their placement is really bad. So as I do my variations, I'm going to continue to work on that top area while keeping the basic mouth. So I can do that a couple of different ways. Usually when an artist is like, okay, I'm happy with certain parts, I need to change the others, they'll sit there and they'll just sort of give themselves, you know. You know, or they'll, you know, they'll kind of just do. They'll do those parts again in isolation, doing subtle variations within each form. You know, some of these are longer, right? Some of these are wider. Like this one is a lot wider and boxier. So not only am I exploring different options for the top of the head, I'm exploring different proportions in terms of height and width, okay? And this is going to allow me to solve some of those issues, right? If I think I want it to be wider and boxier and stronger, I can keep it that way. If I think I want it to be, you know, more narrow and tall, I can keep it that way. Okay? And again, you guys don't have to stay in this meeting. Okay, this part is optional. Again, you should be drawing these 45 minutes. Yeah, you can leave and join back. Gerardo asked. Again, you guys don't have to watch this. I'm recording this so that you have my thought process if you are curious on how to do variations and how to think about variations. If you don't want to watch this and you just want to draw in silence or while you listen to music, feel free to leave the call and work on your drawings for the next 25 half hour here. We got a half hour left. So again, you should be drawing the whole time. If you don't want to listen to me while you draw, you don't have to. You can hang up on the call and you can go draw. I've already said this once. I'm saying it again. Some of you guys are, I'm pretty sure, like either A, not listening to me the entire time I talk, or just like confused when I say you're dismissed. And when I say dismissed, I mean, go do the assignment, guys. You should be drawing while you're listening to me. If you're curious about how I approach variations, if you're not curious and you understand the assignment, you're more than welcome to hang up and work on it. Again, you have a 45-minute time limit. The reason I'm recording this is so that you guys kind of have something or have an idea of how to approach variations if you're struggling. So where I left off explaining these, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fix the eyes. You should be drawing while you're listening to me if you want to listen to me. You know, if you're kind of stuck on how to think about variations, right? I'm talking about how to make variations. And again, I'm trying to resolve the eyes and ears here. So maybe we do kind of like flat top ears here. More boxy eyes, don't like that. Don't like that. Jose, you're here. Yeah, so this giant eye doesn't seem to be working. So I'm probably going to play around with that some more. It just doesn't look well placed, right? You know, and there's a bunch of different ways to do eyes, obviously. You know, there's no right answer here, right? Like, none of these are wrong. We're looking for something that fits this. All right, so here's that eye there. I already tried out a diamond. I tried out a rectangle. That's looking kind of interesting. All right, so here we go. We got kind of an echo of this shape, right? And this is also kind of doing the same direction of the diagonal lines. So, you know, we've got all these diagonals that are, you know, kind of coming out. You know, they're aggressing outwards, you know, expanding. So this is starting to get to that kind of look and feel I'm going for. Aggression, you know, anger. We're tough, we're bears, right? So I might explore this layout more. And the proximity here, I think, is pretty good. I could change proximity and placement, right? But I'm starting to like this more. So I'm going to do it one more time, another variation. All right. That line right there is a bit ambiguous. I'm not sure I need that. But now we got kind of an interesting profile. I could stretch these out and play with them a little bit, right? All these spacings in here, you know, I could spend endless hours kind of resolving those, right? This particular top part of the head, right? Do I want it to look more boxy? Do I want it to be more open? Right? I could start to just variation that part. Here's one that's more open. And I could explore other options. Like right now, you know, I have 2 teeth on the bottom row of teeth. Do I really need those? I could get rid of them. Again, you're making variations, so always explore your options. That's a very clean, simple version right there. Again, I've eliminated a lot of the detail. I don't really like that spacing. that's too floaty for me, right? It felt more grounded when it was underneath the nose. So I'm just going to do it again. And I'm just going to try like a different forehead shape. All right, we're just playing around with placement. It's getting real simple. It's getting real foundational here. Again, none of these are wrong, but you can see the real difference here. You know, I'm pushing all of this stuff that's like way back here. I'm lining it up to see if that feels better. The feel of this one was kind of good, right? That kind of angle. Again, playing with something as simple as this is a variation, right? Let's try that one more time. It was based off of our kind of pentagon feel here, hexagon feel here. All right, now I'm just going straight up geometric. That might not be the feel and look I'm going for, but at least I'm exploring it. All right. I'm starting to get a feel for the placement and the ideas that I'm liking. It's going to take some more variations though. Some more analysis, right? That's our opening. You know, that's kind of our spacing up there. This might be too much. All right. Maybe make that tighter. And make the mouth more open. Sorry, I haven't been drawing on camera here. So here we go. We got some interesting shapes coming forth here. I'm taking a little bit longer because I'm getting happier with the placement. I'm getting happier with the proportions and the choices I'm making. You know, if I had just been happy with my first solution, you know, which back at the start here, you know, some of these ideas are okay, but they're not great, right? If I were just happy with that, I wouldn't have gotten here, you know? And to me, I think we're starting to lose some of the bear-like qualities of this. So I probably would, you know, explore this a bit more. Maybe add the second ear back in, or look for some more bear-like qualities to add to this particular composition. But at least I've got something when it comes to the head that I'm satisfied with, you know? This might be too big, right? This kind of big jutting snout. So I might explore a shorter, stubbier snout for a more bear-like appearance. So now I can do that. I'm going to pull up some more images here. Let's Google their profile. There we go. So again, now I'm basically Googling, you know, kind of the snout bear in profile here to get a sense of this head shape, right? Because this is kind of the hard part, right? Like, you know, bears are not everywhere. So looking at a picture might help me kind of hone in my design and the shapes I need, right? They do have a different kind of look to them. So I might need to explore that. And a lot of these are facing the other direction. So what I might do is just flip the whole thing, right? So variation technique number 18 million, flip your whole design. If you're stuck, change the direction. I'm noticing in the photos, right, a more, you know, kind of sloped look to the head. And the ears are just, they're appearing more like pointy to me versus, you know, like a black bear is like that. Brown bear is more kind of the big fuzzy ears. So we gotta have to make a decision about what we want. And the back is definitely closer to the head up here. So if I'm gonna add that second ear to this basic head shape, right, I'm gonna have to add more of this. And flipping this now has resolved maybe some of my issues I have with it. And now we have a whole new direction, right? We have a boxier, we have a rounder direction. Now let's not put the ear there. More like that. I don't know. Do another variation. Trying a shorter chin here. We're trying different profiles, so different placements of basic lines we've already established. All right, basic feel is still this. Maybe higher ears would work, maybe more back would work. And now we're starting to see maybe some different flows to it. So maybe I try something similar to the old logo where it had that kind of swirl look to it. All right, kind of like this. And I might not like that, but at least I tried it. Let's try straight lines again. There we go. That's a different look and feel. Right? So now we're getting into more rectilinear territory again. I'm trying to resolve how to maybe do this back end here. Maybe we start to incorporate that claw that was in the original kind of one we've sort of adopted. You know, this one here has the claw underneath it in a profile, right? We might want to add that back in a different way. There's no right or wrong here. So we could kind of do it however we want. All right. I actually kind of like this boxy look. Now I'm just sort of adding some arbitrary triangle shapes here. I'm playing around with like that rectilinear form because there's nothing saying I can't. And maybe that's our look and feel, right? A bit boxier, a bit sharper. I can maybe start to play with, you know, line thickness here and add, you know, some dynamic line width. Right? So I'm now changing the overall like profile and feel here. I'm changing, you know, the line thickness. I'm changing detail, right? I can add more or less detail depending on how I feel about the direction of a drawing here. And any one of these I might take to the computer and clean up, right? You know, depending on how it looks and feels. Right? So that was a really boxy version. I might go straight back to curves again, but keep this dynamic energy and maybe keep the points, right? So here we go. We got a lot more curve. I'm basically taking that and doing that to it. That's it. That's all I'm doing. We're starting to get into like wolf look here. Yeah, it's looking a little less bear-like, a little bit more wolf-like. But hey, I'm just making variations here. I'm just playing around, just seeing what works. All right. So that's a pretty good avenue right there. Explored another 8 variations. I could go in a completely different direction if I really wanted to. Last time I was doing these variations, I was arriving at more of a boxy, kind of like cartoonish look, like this. More of your family-friendly sort of bear, which isn't a bad thing either, right? I can just shift gears entirely if I want to. Start to do friendlier, more cartoon versions, right? There's nothing saying I can't. So at this point, I have if I count them up, right, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8-ish, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 and 2. All right, 8 times 3 is Mr. Turk's bad at math. 26-ish, right? So I have about 26 variations for 40 minutes of work. That's not bad. That's like, you know, what? 45 divided by 26. Yeah, that's about a minute, 2 minutes drawing. Ish. All right. So a minute 45 seconds of drawing, 2 minutes of drawing. That's pretty slow, but again, I'm looking for certain things, right? I was doing variations for a very specific reason. I was trying to get a more aggressive, you know, look to the bear, which again, my first attempt I did not do that, right? Like my very first rectilinear, sharper drawing did not do that. It didn't feel good. Looks like a duck, you know, and this is where we ended up at, all right? Just by changing little things here and there, you know, changing the shapes I was using, changing the mouth, changing the ear shape, the eye shape, okay, the line width. So take some photos of your drawings, guys. Make sure you hand those in.